Hello smart investors, this is Choma from Lost City Homes and Properties. So today we'll be talking briefly about things to consider before getting or buying a land in Lagos or in anywhere within Nigeria, basically in Lagos. In case you're coming across this video for the first time and you're wondering what are they all about, this is Lost City Homes and Properties Limited, and we sell lands in Lagos for affordable price. Let's move on to today's discussion proper. So we all know that becoming a landowner in any part of this world, whether in Nigeria, whether in USA, UK, whatever the state or country may be in the world, being a landowner, you're considered as, one of the wealthiest people, or someone who has just joined the wealthy group of people in the environment that you are. And this has been ongoing in time past and even now. So land is something that nobody should joke about. Owning land is something that nobody should play with or consider as not important. But then, in as much as you need to be a landowner, in as much as you need to become a landlord and join the big boys club or the big men club, you need to consider a few things, very important things. These are tips that you shouldn't do away with, you shouldn't ignore, because first of all, you just might end up giving your money to the wrong people or paying for nothing, especially in Lagos State. So I came up here to discuss these tips to consider, important tips to consider. I might go ahead to talk about more, but let's just start with 5 things to consider before getting a land in Lagos. I'll leave the most important one for the last, so please stay with me and let's just go through these things. So number one thing to consider is your budget. You need to consider what you have in your account before you choose where to buy a land. A lot of people wish to have properties or have land in renowned places like Ikoyi, VI. I know a lot of people who live in Nigeria would be familiar with this area. This is very important. It is very good. This is very good. If it's something that is within your budget, go for it. If it's something you can actually afford, go for it. But then we have a lot of people who don't have so much, who don't have up to 70 million naira, who doesn't have up to 100 million naira, who doesn't have up to 1 billion naira, because of course there are properties that are sold in those areas that are worth that amount. And you have just little hundreds of thousands and little millions of naira. You should consider your budget while buying a land. So when you have just little amount of money, so that you don't jump into these scammers, try as much as you can not to be faster than what you can afford, or not to act faster than what you can afford. Another thing to consider before buying a land is location. This is very, very important. In as much as you're considering, you need to also check your budget before getting a land. You also need to check location. It is very important to check location to know if this location is actually going to be a place where it would be developed fast. There's so many locations in Lagos State that no matter how long you buy that land and how long you wait, it stays undeveloped for a very long time. I'm sure a lot of you understand what I'm trying to say, and in your mind of mind, areas like that. So you need to consider this location, especially if you would like to start a business there, and also for security reasons and so many other things. And especially if it's a developing area, that is very important, because you don't want to get a land in a location where it's not developing. You know what I mean? It's just going to be you there, and of course, you don't want to go through that stress of buying a land and staying happy or thinking that you've actually gotten a place where you can actually do stuff or build your house, and you realize that that place is not a developing area. Another thing to consider again before buying a land in Lagos is the land appreciation, like how long it takes for this particular land to appreciate. But imagine if you're actually buying to resell, or imagine if you're buying to build and put them on rent, or you just want to use them for commercial purpose, and you realize that that place or that area where you got your land is not appreciated. That would be like a waste of money for you, because you're buying for business, or you're buying to resell, or you're buying to rent out. So it's important to consider how fast that environment or that land is appreciating, so that your money is not stuck in a particular property and you can't even get a good return on investment for it. Okay, so another thing again you should consider when buying a land is the mode of payment. In as much as this sounds very unnecessary and unimportant, it is very important. You should be able to consider the mode of payment. Yes, because we have a lot of scammers out there. I know a lot of people who I was opportune to have discussions like this with, and they said that I couldn't get a good documentation of how I paid because they were always receiving my money in cash. I was always like paying in cash. So it is important, to consider the mode of payment. Any landowner or land seller or anybody at all who is selling land to you and is saying pay in cash, it should be considered too, because especially when there is no proper documentation, you can actually defend that you actually gave this person, there was no witness, and just to avoid a lot of issues when it comes to your transaction, you should be very careful and also consider your mode of payment. So most times it's important for you to do bank transfers, just transfer so that you can have a receipt for yourself, and also they can also have a receipt themselves also. So another thing to consider again when buying your land is approval by government. A lot of people have fallen into this kind of situation whereby they bought lands in areas that are not approved by government, in areas that are not free to use, meaning areas that the government have plans for. Imagine you paying for such land, you know that your money is gone already. So that's why it's important for one to always make research about a particular land you're buying. Don't just go ahead and start paying money because this person is directly from your brother-in-law or your sister-in-law or your brother or your sister, whoever the person may be, a family member, a church member. It's important to make research and to know if that land is actually free from government use, so that you don't fall victim. Just to add this in, it is very important to buy from a reliable real estate company. I'll tell you why. The reason is so that in case of any issue whatsoever, you know that you're not going through the stress alone. So it is important to consider getting land from a reliable real estate company. So smart investors, now you have full knowledge of things to consider before getting land in Lagos. Let me use this time to introduce again Love City Homes and Properties. I talked about getting land from a reliable real estate company, and Love City Homes and Properties, we have proven ourselves reliable, guaranteed and trusted when it comes to you getting land in Lagos. Let me quickly introduce the estates we have in Lagos. We have Lush Gardens Phase 2, Lush Gardens Phase 3, we have Tribeca Park, Lush City Annex, We have lush luxury estates. We also have lands in Bogije, Lagos, and our estates are actually very affordable. We have for as low as 800,000 naira, 900,000 naira, 1 million, 1.2 million naira, 1.5 million naira. So you can see they're very affordable, and we have made it very easy, very easy for anyone to acquire a land with Lost City Homes and Properties. We've come up with a payment plan that is very flexible, which is an initial deposit of 200,000 naira and can spread the remaining money within 3 months. Thank you so much for taking your time to watch this video. I hope this has been very impactful, and I hope you're going to be taking bold steps now to acquiring a property or two. Thank you so much. Bye.